Enums will help restrict what potential values can be inside of a particular column, and Hasura has a way to set that up. So let's hypothetically say that each particular user has a specific type, and we want to enforce that they're either a free account or a pro account. To do this, we go into our Data tab, and we'll create a new table, and we'll call it Users Types. And this will be the potential types for potential users. Now, for enum tables to work inside of Hasura, you need to have a singular column with a text as a primary key. This doesn't matter what it's called, it just needs to have the primary key set to a text value. You could then additionally add a description, and that description will then inform the graphical interface to explain exactly what each specific enum actually means. So we'll go ahead and add that table. So now that we're here, we want to fill it with data. However, generally speaking, if you're developing locally and then going to apply the migrations to your staging and or production environments, you want to save them as migrations. And so currently to do that, we need to go into our SQL, and we need to create an insert statement that will insert enums into our table. So the SQL insert statement will look like this: insert into, and we'll supply our table users types and give it two columns, the value and the description. And then we need to supply the values that we want to insert. So values, and then we will say that we want the first enum value to be free, and we'll say this is an unpaid account. And then we'll supply another one. We'll say pro, and we'll say this is a paid account. And ensure that you do single quotes here. If you do double quotes, then that will be treated as a column rather than a string value. The next thing we need to do is then say this is a migration and give it a name so that it can save this particular thing in an understandable format. It doesn't really matter what it's called, just so that you can recognize the name if you need to reference this particular migration later. So just call it run users types enum, and then we'll go ahead and click run. So with that inserted, we can go and take a look at our users types, and we can see that there are the two types, free and pro, with the descriptions. And now we need to go to our users table, go to modify, and we're going to set up a foreign key on this type text. So we'll say add a foreign key, and the reference table will be our users types. We'll then say that the type on our user is referring to the value on our users types. And we'll go ahead and save that. And now with that all set up, we can go to our users types table. We go to our modify, and we can scroll down and see that set this table as enum. And it has some other table requirements that we have already talked about. So I'll go ahead and toggle this on. Click OK. And now this is an enum table. So now in our graphical interface, we can see that when we try to query for specific users, we can say where the type is equal to, and we have our GraphQL enums supplied by a users types table with a toggled on enum.